All right, welcome to the Recruiter Startup Podcast. I recorded the whole way through the pandemic, and then we did a little bit on private equity and recruitment, and I was getting a bit lost as to what we'd do next. So I thought I would call up the main man and get him back on to see where we're at. We had a we had a tough conversation on the first day, and some inspirational words he threw out. Um, Joe Mullings, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well, my friend, and it's always good to be across the lake to you. And I'm admiring, as always, what you and your organization are doing. So thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, we're trying hard. Hey, it it's been a bit of a pivot in a different few markets. Um, Talk to me about the studio there. That looks unreal.
Yeah, so this is the Dragonfly Studios. I'm pretty sure we're the only search firm in the entire world that has its own production company and studio. So what you're seeing going on behind us is we've got some clients coming in today to shoot some content. It's their training videos. Primarily, the studio is used for our organization and our medtech and life science clients. But now we have other clients coming in to want to use this fully functional, world-class studio down here in Delray Beach. So I
So not
figured,
just recruitment stuff,
what's that?
general media now, not just the recruitment side of of media.
Yeah, so we've got. I'm active in the med tech industry, as most of the people know in life science. So we've got large organizations like MDIC, the FDA, Nest, Advamed. They all will use our studio and our capabilities to talk to their community. And so whenever I'm chatting with them, we're using the studio. And we also have some of our search clients who have now secured us in this COVID world. As an example, we usually have a big show in Dublin every year. And that show that's put on by the MedTech strategist, and we're a platinum sponsor with Johnson & Johnson and Medtronic and some others, is virtual now. So we've got a number of the presenting companies calling us. We're able to three-way in, just like we're doing right here via our studio,
Yeah,
and create content and have them do their podium
yeah.
virtually. So this has ended up being a major component and a value add for our existing clients.
Um, Talk to me about things that have happened since we've last spoke, because I found that I've had to do a lot of pivoting in my own business. What's it has it fast forwarded much of what's happening in your own world?
Um, yeah,
We
so
talked a little bit about like your interim business last time.
yeah, and so we've launched that. As you and I chatted about, that was going to be a Q4 of 2020.
Mhm.
We've launched that. I've got a gentleman who came out of New York City who had launched two major interim initiatives for two pretty well-known firms up there. So he joined us last week. We've built the back-end infrastructure, substantial build. So we're not just sort of one of those retainer firms that is putting our toe in the water. We're building an entire organization around that, different staff. And I believe, by the way, that if you're going to get into interim and you are a perm firm, you have to have different staff. The mindset's different, the
Yeah,
speed, the
yeah,
execution, the ability to sit in the pocket and retainer and work a search for 6 weeks. Where an interim or contract, you got to turn somebody around in 48 hours or else you're going to lose the opening. They're different mindsets. So
100%.
same team, but it's like a sweeper back and a striker. They both play the same game, but they have different styles of play. And that's the
Yeah.
same in the interim as well as the perm business. So I'm excited about that. That's going off. We've tripled down on our digital footprint. Dualta, it's paid off tremendously because we have dominated the virtual world. We have had clients come to us who are just bringing us on board now as a partner just to create their virtual content for their organization. I think since COVID, we've made more than 90 perm placements, and more than 60 or 70% of those are purely over Zoom. They have never met anybody face to face. And I'm talking
Wow.
about 3 president CEOs, maybe 4, and our ability to bridge that and create this, how do you appear in front of a customer virtually now, has been an incredible asset for us.
Wow, that sounds great. Talk to me a little bit more about the interim business. Is it going to be based in Delray?
The interim business will be based in Delray, but working around the world. We've got a back office. We are actually doing our back office through a firm called People 2.0, which is an international play. I didn't want to be bothered with the back end, so we brought in a partner there. And now I'm just having my headhunters go out and sort of piggyback on our reputation in the marketplace. So as usual with the TMG company, branding, marketing, media, scaling the message to tens of thousands of people a day via media instead of just exclusively a phone call, one point of contact. And we're building out that firm as well. So I'm excited about that.
Very good. Talk to me a little bit about the leadership network you're involved with. What's your role there?
At Management Recruiters?
Yeah.
So Management Recruiters is a recruiting services firm, about 350, 360 offices around the world. My dear friend Bert Miller purchased it last year. I liken that to the powder keg and the spark. Bert and I have known each other for 20 plus years because I did grow up in the early years in Management Recruiters as an owner and then left. Had outgrown the organization. Bert bought it from the private equity company and realized that it had an opportunity to really further define what talent access means in the world. And so we had agreed at the beginning of this year. Actually, my first week was the start of COVID there, so who would have known? But God, I hate an unfair fight more than anything else. I love unfair fights. So Bert brought me on as the Chief Vision Officer to reimagine and transition Management Recruiters from being a juggernaut, purely analog recruiting firm to a digital forward organization. So that transition continues to go on. I'm super lucky. The owners of each of the individual 350 plus franchises are so committed to the industry. And then trying to get them to see, understand, and at least open their mind to this transition that I think every business, not just the recruiting world, needs to make into understanding how can digital expand your subject matter expertise. So one of the things that I had learned, because I came in with the classic Joe Mullings heavy hand into Management Recruiters, and it was wrong. All digital does, here's what digital does. It's the easiest way for me to explain it. A great headhunter, what they do is they demonstrate subject matter expertise around their industry. That's all they do. But they're tied to it exclusively on a telephone. So, and then typically, once you're a recruiter for 4 or 5 years, you typically call the same 200 people. So your subject matter expertise is only spread around those 200 people. When you digitally commit to spreading your subject matter expertise, forget about the word branding, reputation. When you can scale your subject matter expertise to the people who you never even speak to at scale digitally, it changes your business. And so that's what I've done. I've come in and we are working on subject matter expertise expansion using media to do that. And we've also started a product development company that is going to be releasing digital tools for the recruiting industry to use. And we'll be showcasing those probably in the next 30 days. We've been using them at TMG. For,
you demoed a few of them when we were there the last time. I was wondering when the play would come.
Yeah, so our average billing in our office, and we'll do probably north of 10 million this year, the average billing on each desk is $550,000 American. That's 3 times the industry norm. And part of it is our training, but part of it are the digital tools that we use as well. So we're going to be excited about releasing those, and we're releasing those to the Management Recruiters Network. So it's given me a chance to take what we built over the last 30 years, but really the last 5 years on media, and then blow it out with Management Recruiters with the courage of Bert Miller.
Yeah, so I think I'm on the same page as you when it comes to media. I think that the next stage of media is community, though. I've been thinking a large part about this over the COVID area, and and one of the things that we did was we created some WhatsApp groups from all the different guests who've come on our podcast, who are founders in our area, and I've had tremendous benefit out of that. Are you looking at developing like the community element of it further?
Yeah, so a big dumb smile because our product development company, one of their products is called Quark Community, and it's exactly around that, Dualta. It's about building a community of like-minded people in their area of specialization for both the companies and the individuals. You know, I don't like to use the word candidates. Between the companies and the individuals, and creating a multimedia platform free of charge for the individual that they can go to Dualta Doherty, right? Quark / Dualta Doherty, right? / and the world of resumes is valid, but we're more than a resume. So we're going to create a platform where, as an individual, you can go on and with guidance and mentoring and sort of ideas from a media expertise, here's how you also want to put this attachment on your Quark community that highlights your body of work, maybe the YouTube videos you have, maybe a feed from your LinkedIn, and it gives the employer or the future potential employer a full perspective on who you are as a human being. And so resumes matter, but they shouldn't be the only thing. And until right now, they've been the only thing. And the only thing that's leaked in a little bit is a LinkedIn profile, and most people don't really effectively use that well. So I'm super happy to hear you, because I think you know have a pulse in the industry like we do, but we're creating a community. And it's a long haul, but I think it's going to be one that will benefit the individuals, because I always believe the individual is more important than the company, because if you get the community of individuals in your area of expertise to follow you, the companies have to come to you to give you the business.
Yeah, it's been a wild few months. Part of the reason we set up the community was that we needed to really expand our footprint in the UK, because we were quite American focused and moving people abroad, and this pandemic really exposed weaknesses in our business model, and it's just been step by step trying to fix everything. Was there anything in your business that you needed to fix, or did you feel completely prepared for everything?
I don't think, I'd be fibbing if I said I was completely prepared. I'm proud of our team. We had a record-breaking first half of the year, and Q3 is ending up being record-breaking as well for us. I attribute that to their skills and perseverance and work rate. We're also sort of blessed to be in that healthcare, medtech, life science world. That's the industry that's carrying this world forward, right? Between diagnosis, vaccines, all that kind of stuff. So that's been fortunate for us. I think the one thing that nobody was prepared for is how do you transition immediately overnight a workforce to remote? We have worked super hard at that, staying connected, not trying to stay connected every single day as a organization, but my leaders in the organization have pivoted and had multiple meetings a week, and even a few of them twice a day with their teams, to stay connected intimately, and then back out to the organization, because we're about a 34, 35 person firm right now. So that I don't think anybody could have been prepared for, but the firms that learned from that, I believe, and had the tools to pull that off, I think we'll be really well positioned as we come out of this. I do think I put it on LinkedIn yesterday. I know this is probably going to get out next week, but I think we're walking into the golden age of recruiting. I think those that are committed to recruiting and it's really dark for you right now, hang in there. Here's why. HR, first of all, never liked recruiting, human resources. They never liked it. They got that function tossed to them a long time ago. And they're going to be busy between environmental health and safety, mental health issues in the workplace, bringing back furloughed employees, trying to find new employees, workplace restructure physically, all that kind of stuff. They're not going to have any time to recruit. And so that means as a recruiter, they are going to need you. You need to be standing in plain sight with them when this is coming back on. And so hang in there. Even right now, do not put your shingle in your bag. Hang in there and be as visible as possible. They're going to have to come to you. Don't cut your fees. Don't go for bargain basement right now because they think you're on your heels and you've got to do a deal. Do not do it. Hang in there, because we are now entering the next 3 to 4 years are going to be the golden years of recruiting. And somebody clip this out and put it on the side, because I'm going to be historically right on this one.
Good. All right. What's next for you then?
Did I tell you we're working on opening up a UK office?
Talk to me about it.
Yeah, a couple years ago, we had looked at opening up over in Ireland for a number of reasons. You know, we do about 20% of our business OUS and primarily in the EU. And I'm Irish descent, and I do a lot of...
3 years tax-free as well, my friend.
and
11%, and 11% beyond that.
and I've got a really great support base. Recruiting in general in the UK, and especially out of London, I've established some really beautiful relationships out there. In fact, I'm speaking at Recfest, and we can come back to that. I'm speaking at Recfest. I've just done a piece for Recfest, so watch me on that. You're going to like that.
I wouldn't watch that. That's for internal recruiters.
Well, that's the difference. When recruiting is recruiting, athletes are athletes. That you can take something from everybody. It's the reason why pro football players do ballet in the off season.
They don't want us there. Honestly, we're not even invited to that festival.
Well, we could work on that. Maybe I'm the very first recruiter they've ever had on the stage. I don't know. But I'm at Recfest, so we've got a really great support system there in Greater London area. It's a gateway. It's a short flight for us. And so, yeah, I'm finalizing a deal right now with a young man right now who lives in England, who's going to be our first person on board, with the intention of 2021 being a very meaningful year for a build out in England for a Mullings Group office, media presence and recruiting presence and all.
Good for you.
So if you're interested, reach out. And Dualta's my recruiter, so reach out to him too.
Yeah, reach out to me. Okay, cool. So when does that go live?
When does what go live?
In London.
So right now we're working on some paperwork for the young man who is going to be our first breathing soul on your soil, and we should have that finalized in the next week or two. So right now, what are we, September 9th or something like that? And once I get that settled in, then we're going to start working through the paperwork to open official entity in your lovely country.
All right, there we go. So that's really exciting. All right, what else do you want to cover today, Joe?
Man, that's it.
We got it?
Yeah, so we hit Recfest. We hit what to do on the branding side, subject matter expertise. Again, I do want to beat this to death. Forget about the word branding. Forget about the word reputation. I'll continue to use it though. But to me, spreading your subject matter expertise from a building companies and career perspective in your area of expertise is really what media is about. That's the easiest way for you to do that. Don't use these esoteric branding, build your brand. It's important. But what's more important is the individuals in the marketplace in your area of expertise want to know that you know the details about their industry. You can see around corners on their behalf because you see a lot more than they do. The average person only probably switches jobs 3 to 5 times in their career, and they don't even look up once they just switched a job. So you've got your finger on the pulse, you know what's going on, and you should know, if you're a great headhunter, where the industry is going to be in 3 years. That's what your content should revolve around. So that's my new sermon I'm beating the snot out of right now, because it really is the secret sauce, and it's super simple.
All right, awesome. That's us for today. Joe, thank you so much, and it's always great to get you on the show.
Always, my man. Thanks for the opportunity.